Do you dream of building a successful business without wasting time and money on failed ideas? What if there was a way to test your business ideas quickly and efficiently, while minimizing waste and maximizing impact? Then you are not alone, and you've come to the right place. In this video, we'll reveal the secrets of The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, a revolutionary approach to business building that's helped millions of entrepreneurs and business leaders achieve remarkable success. The Lean Startup is a revolutionary approach to building and growing successful businesses. Based on the lean manufacturing principles pioneered by Toyota, the Lean Startup approach emphasizes rapid experimentation, continuous improvement, and customer feedback as the keys to building a sustainable business. In this book, Eric Ries lays out a step-by-step approach to building a lean startup, from developing a vision and identifying the right market to accelerating growth and fostering a culture of innovation. He provides practical guidance for entrepreneurs, business leaders, and anyone interested in creating a successful business in today's rapidly changing marketplace. The book is divided into 4 parts, each of which focuses on a different aspect of how to approach building a successful venture. In this video, we will explore the insights discussed in each 4 parts of the book in detail. In the introduction, Ries begins by discussing his experience as an entrepreneur and the challenges he faced in starting a successful company. He explains that the traditional approach to starting a business, which emphasizes detailed planning, market research, and execution of a preconceived plan, often leads to failure. Instead, he proposes a new approach called the Lean Startup, which emphasizes experimentation, customer feedback, and continuous improvement. Ries defines a lean startup as an organization that aims to create value with minimal waste, focusing on the parts of the business that create the most value while constantly experimenting and iterating. He argues that this approach is necessary in today's rapidly changing business environment, where new technologies, markets, and competitors can disrupt even the most established companies. Ries also discusses the importance of a validated learning approach, which involves testing assumptions and hypotheses through experiments and customer feedback to determine what works and what doesn't. He emphasizes that the goal of a startup is not to create a perfect product or business plan, but to learn as quickly as possible and adapt to changing circumstances. Finally, Ries introduces the 3 main components of the Lean Startup approach: the Build, Measure, Learn feedback loop, the idea of a minimum viable product, MVP, and the concept of continuous innovation. He explains that these components are designed to help startups test their assumptions, minimize risk, and maximize learning. Overall, the introduction sets the stage for the rest of the book, introducing the main concepts and principles of the Lean Startup approach and explaining why it is necessary for success in today's business environment. Part 1 of the Lean Startup is focused on the first stage of the Lean Startup process: vision. It consists of 4 chapters that cover the key steps in developing a vision for a new startup. Chapter 1: Start. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of starting a new venture with a clear purpose and vision. He emphasizes the need to identify a problem that is worth solving and to have a clear understanding of the customer's needs and wants. He also explains the importance of creating a culture of innovation and experimentation within the startup, where failure is seen as a learning opportunity rather than a setback. Chapter 2: Define. In this chapter, Ries introduces the concept of the value proposition and explains how it can be used to define the product or service a startup will offer. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the customer's needs and wants and tailoring the product or service to meet those needs. He also discusses the importance of testing assumptions and gathering feedback from potential customers before launching a product. Chapter 3: Learn. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of continuous learning and improvement in the Lean Startup approach. He introduces the concept of the Build, Measure, Learn feedback loop, which involves building a minimum viable product, MVP, measuring its impact, and learning from the results. He also emphasizes the need to focus on actionable metrics, such as customer acquisition and retention, rather than vanity metrics, such as website traffic. Chapter 4: Experiment. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of experimentation in the Lean Startup approach. He explains that experiments should be designed to test specific hypotheses and should be conducted in a controlled environment. He also introduces the concept of split testing, which involves testing multiple versions of a product or feature to determine which one is most effective. Across Part 1, Ries emphasizes that the lean startup approach requires a shift in mindset from traditional business practices. Rather than focusing on detailed planning and execution of a preconceived plan, the lean startup approach involves rapid experimentation, continuous learning, and flexibility in response to changing circumstances. He uses examples from his own experience and from other successful startups to illustrate the key principles of the lean startup approach. Some of the key learnings and insights from Part 1 include the importance of starting with a clear purpose and vision, the value of understanding the customer's needs and wants, the need to continuously learn and improve through experimentation and feedback, the importance of focusing on actionable metrics rather than vanity metrics, the value of a minimum viable product, MVP, for testing assumptions, the need to be flexible and adaptable in response to changing circumstances. Overall, Part 1 sets the foundation for the rest of the book, introducing the key principles and practices of the lean startup approach and emphasizing the importance of developing a clear vision and purpose for a new venture. Part 2 of the lean startup is focused on the second stage of the lean startup process, steer. It consists of 3 chapters that cover the key steps in testing and refining the initial vision for a startup. Chapter 5, Leap. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of taking calculated risks and making bold moves to achieve success. He introduces the concept of the leap of faith, which involves making a hypothesis about a business model and testing it with a minimum viable product, MVP. He emphasizes the need to validate assumptions through experimentation and customer feedback, rather than relying on intuition or guesswork. Chapter 6, Test. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of testing and validating assumptions through experiments. He introduces the concept of the pivot, which involves making a strategic change to the business model based on feedback from experiments. He emphasizes the need to be flexible and adaptable in response to changing circumstances, and to be willing to pivot when necessary. Chapter 7, Measure. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of measuring progress and success in the lean startup approach. He introduces the concept of innovation accounting, which involves using metrics to measure the progress of a startup towards achieving its goals. He emphasizes the need to focus on actionable metrics that reflect customer behavior and the success of the business model, rather than financial metrics that may not accurately reflect progress. Across Part 2, Ries emphasizes the importance of testing assumptions through experimentation and feedback, and the need to be willing to make strategic changes based on the results of those experiments. He also stresses the importance of measuring progress and success using actionable metrics that reflect the customer's experience and the success of the business model. Some of the key learnings and insights from Part 2 include the importance of taking calculated risks and making bold moves to achieve success, the need to validate assumptions through experimentation and customer feedback, the value of being flexible and adaptable in response to changing circumstances, the importance of measuring progress and success using actionable metrics that reflect customer behavior and the success of the business model, the value of the pivot as a strategic tool for making changes to the business model based on feedback from experiments. Overall, Part 2 focuses on the importance of testing and refining the initial vision for a startup, and emphasizes the need to be willing to make strategic changes based on feedback and experimentation. It provides practical guidance for implementing the build, measure, learn feedback loop and developing an effective innovation accounting system to measure progress and success. Part 3 of the Lean Startup is focused on the third stage of the Lean Startup process, Accelerate. It consists of 3 chapters that cover the key steps in scaling a successful startup and building a sustainable business. Chapter 8, Batch. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of using the concept of batch size to optimize the production and delivery of a product or service. He emphasizes the need to find the right balance between producing too much, which can lead to waste and inefficiency, and producing too little, which can lead to missed opportunities and unhappy customers. Chapter 9, Grow. In this chapter, Ries discusses the challenges and opportunities of scaling a successful startup. He introduces the concept of innovation accounting for growth, which involves using metrics to measure the success of growth initiatives and identify opportunities for further improvement. He emphasizes the need to focus on sustainable growth that is driven by customer demand and the success of the business model, rather than artificial growth that is driven by external factors. Chapter 10. Adapt. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of being adaptable and responsive to changing market conditions and customer needs. He introduces the concept of continuous deployment, which involves making frequent and incremental changes to the product or service based on customer feedback and data analysis. He emphasizes the need to build a culture of continuous improvement and experimentation, and to be willing to make strategic changes to the business model as needed. Across Part 3, Ries emphasizes the importance of finding the right balance between efficiency and innovation, and the need to focus on sustainable growth that is driven by customer demand and the success of the business model. He also stresses the importance of being adaptable and responsive to changing market conditions and customer needs, and of building a culture of continuous improvement and experimentation. Some of the key learnings and insights from Part 3 include the importance of finding the right balance between efficiency and innovation, the value of innovation accounting for growth to measure success and identify opportunities for improvement, the need to focus on sustainable growth that is driven by customer demand and the success of the business model, the importance of being adaptable and responsive to changing market conditions and customer needs, the value of continuous deployment as a way to make frequent and incremental changes based on customer feedback and data analysis. Overall, Part 3 focuses on the challenges and opportunities of scaling a successful startup and building a sustainable business. It provides practical guidance for optimizing production and delivery, measuring growth and identifying opportunities for improvement, and building a culture of continuous improvement and experimentation. Part 4 of the Lean Startup is focused on the fourth stage of the Lean Startup process, Innovate. It consists of 2 chapters that cover the key steps in creating a culture of innovation and continuous improvement. Chapter 11, Leap Again. In this chapter, Ries discusses the importance of creating a culture of innovation that encourages employees to take risks and make bold moves. He introduces the concept of innovation accounting for innovation, which involves using metrics to measure the success of innovation initiatives and identify opportunities for further improvement. He emphasizes the need to empower employees to experiment and take risks, and to provide the resources and support they need to be successful. Chapter 12, Epilogue. In this chapter, Ries reflects on the lessons he has learned through his experience with the Lean Startup approach. He emphasizes the importance of continuous improvement and experimentation, and the need to embrace failure as a learning opportunity. He also discusses the role of the Lean Startup approach in promoting social and economic progress, and the potential for entrepreneurship to drive positive change in the world. Across Part 4, Ries emphasizes the importance of creating a culture of innovation and continuous improvement, and the need to empower employees to experiment and take risks. He also stresses the importance of using metrics to measure the success of innovation initiatives and identify opportunities for further improvement. Some of the key learnings and insights from Part 4 include the importance of creating a culture of innovation that encourages employees to take risks and make bold moves, the value of innovation accounting for innovation to measure success and identify opportunities for improvement, the need to empower employees to experiment and take risks, and to provide the resources and support they need to be successful, the importance of continuous improvement and experimentation, and the need to embrace failure as a learning opportunity, the potential for entrepreneurship to drive positive change in the world. Overall, Part 4 focuses on the importance of creating a culture of innovation and continuous improvement, and the potential for entrepreneurship to drive positive social and economic progress. It provides practical guidance for empowering employees to experiment and take risks, and for using metrics to measure the success of innovation initiatives and identify opportunities for further improvement. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, you can find a link to the full book, as well as the Kindle and audiobook versions, in the description below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel to continue your journey on the shortcut to self-improvement.